Greetings and welcome to my new calculus channel. My name is John Gabriel. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about Gilbert Strang, a professor from MIT, and showing you how this poor academic is so confused, doesn't know what the hell calculus is about, doesn't have a clue what is a derivative or what is a differential or anything about calculus. So you'll find his video at this link. And I'm going to switch now over to a critique which I've done. So starting in his very first video, at time equals to 1 second, he says, it's not distance and slope that calculus is about. Well, no, he says it is about distance and slope. I'm sorry. Of course, it's not about distance and slope. It's about slope and a product of arithmetic means, or level magnitudes. That's what calculus is about. Okay, so this poor idiot doesn't know these things, but he works at MIT. Okay, so somebody asked, doesn't MIT hire the smartest and brightest? No, this is proof, you morons. Listen to me. That's what he says here.
Slope of a mountain. And it's the connection between those two that calculus is about. And so our problem today is, you could imagine we have an airplane climbing. Its height is y as it covers a distance x.
Okay, so all those whatever, he stumbles all over himself. Then he says that at 135 that flight speed, he talks about flight speed and the height of the airplane, and really neither of those have anything to do with derivatives. They have zero to do with derivatives. The speed of a plane or the height has absolutely nothing to do with derivatives. Okay, how do I know this? Because I've shown you in previous videos that the methods of calculus are totally useless unless you have a smooth function. Okay, that's number one thing which this poor baboon doesn't know about. He never knew about it, and in fact, he probably learned decades ago when I wasn't around and they were all confused. They were all a bunch of fucking morons. Okay, so then he says in 155, the sound recorder tells you the speed at an instant. No, it doesn't. It's almost at an instant, but it's not. Why? Because it's built mechanically, and speed is measured according to the mechanism, and possibly on a car it would be the number of revolutions, but on a plane it's not done the same way as it is on a car. But then he goes into this, into his into, I believe Alzheimer's started a decade or so before this video. Then he says at 235, let's go to 235, which is right over here.
So that you realize that letters are not what calculus is about, it's ideas.
Letters are not what calculus is about, it's ideas. Oh dear, you can tell this guy has homosexual tendencies, but never mind. I'm not accusing him of that. Let's continue. I think that Donald Trump, has more cognizance than this idiot, and you all know what I think of Trump, which isn't good. So he continues, he rambles on and on about recovering height and slope. There's no need to recover height and slope. But he harps on that for quite a while. Poor students are probably all looking terribly confused, thinking, we're the chosen ones. We're at MIT. We must be the best because we got admitted. No, you just happen to get lucky, you fucking moron. So then he says at 312, but somehow I'm dividing height, distance up by distance across. Actually, the poor fool doesn't realize, he doesn't even have a clue, that all that is being divided are two finite differences. There is no somehow, he says at this particular timestamp, somehow. Then, of course, he goes on to 556 and he says, the slope is changing as I go up. Now, that is So wrong. I can't tell you how wrong that is. The slope is not changing. It hasn't been changing in past perpetuity. It's not changing now, and it will always be that way. Nothing is changing. Calculus is not about change. It's not about rate of change. It's not about instantaneous rate of change. That is all bullshit that this driveling, sniveling moron has propagated because he's an idiot. That's why he says that. Then he says later on at 1930, delta x is going to disappear. Well, again, here he doesn't know that delta x is the slope difference between the non-parallel secant line and the tangent line. Nothing ever disappears anywhere. And how do we know this? From my theorem, my historic geometric theorem, which I published in January 2020, but which I knew many decades ago. And from the historic geometric theorem, we get what? What do we get? Let's hear. We get the geometric identity, which links the derivative to its primitive function in one fine definition. Then he says, he says later on, that's the point. Unbelievable that delta x is going to disappear. That's the point, by the way, that delta x disappears. So he says this was the average, but not the instant. So Baboon Man doesn't realize that 2x plus delta x is the arithmetic mean, not the average, whatever the fuck that means, because it can mean a lot of things. Of all the y ordinates of y is equal to 2x in the interval x to x plus delta x. That's what is going on there, not what this idiot is telling you. Okay, this MIT professor, wow. If he's hired by MIT, he must be smart, isn't that so? Well, think about that. If this is short, this is damn short. I mean, he just doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. All he is doing is passing on his confused bullshit. He never understood calculus. None of them ever did. Nobody at MIT, nobody at the best universities in the world understood calculus before I came along and explained why it works. I explained it, no one else. Stop the video and think about that, you baboon, before you comment in my section. I'm the greatest mathematician today. Nobody else is even worthy of licking my ass. Then he says at 2023, this isn't a true division. Oh my goodness. It is very much a true division, okay? It's exactly a division. It's effectively 0 over 0. No, idiot, because 0 over 0 is meaningless nonsense in mathematics. And then he says, here's the big step going to calculus, while full points to limit. Meanwhile, nothing there requires limits or any of the bullshit drivel that he goes on and on about in his crap video here, which has 5.04 million subscribers and has been viewed almost 400,000 times. Just think of how many morons there are out there. How many little dimwit Americans go, oh, that's so cool. We're now dealing with infinity. We're so fucking smart. Oh my, you're a bunch of fucking morons, man. Americans are the dumbest people on the planet. You are way out of touch with your actual abilities. Wake up. Okay, didn't mean to rant like that, but if you're not already a subscriber, become a subscriber. Click on like, tell your friends about me, because they're morons and they'll never understand calculus if they don't learn it from me. Only I know why calculus works. And I revealed the theorems and the right way to do calculus in the new calculus and also in the historic geometric theorem. I'm John Gabriel, and this is the new calculus channel. But wait, before I ring off, some of you are going to go, what a bitter and horrible man I am. No, 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 no. I'm not. Sometime in 2014, some bastard called Noman Nesio decided he was going to post this comment. Google posting cunt Gabriel can be eliminated easiest by contract. And it will cost no more than $500. So we come down here and we see Amber, and this YBM is that piece of shit from France. I think he's a stinking Jew. His name's Jean-Pierre Massager. He's a real scumbag, total fool, total idiot who doesn't know shit about mathematics. So we carry on here and we see port 563. You know who port 563 is, people? You really want to know? It's this soft, kind looking little bastard that you see in front of you. That is port 563. I'm not going to read all his comments, but you're welcome to go ahead and read them, okay? And see how he taunts me, how he denigrates me when he knows nothing. Oh, look, do that in any negative, look at the threats here. Do that in any negative way, asshole, and you will spend much of the rest of your life wishing you had a time machine to undo your action. Guess what? If there is any justice, this guy should be executed and I should receive all his money because he did destroy my life. He was the beginning of my life being destroyed. And I can tell you this, there is no justice in this world because this vile bastard destroyed my life. He was the beginning of it. But it doesn't end there. He didn't stop there. He didn't stop with his threats. He carried on. Then he says, uh, you know, my word, he pretends to be smart, but he's such an idiot. So finally, I get to a point where I tell him after his here's another one, Kentucky bullfrogs. That's such a gay thing to say. And narcissistic personality disorder. See, this he was the first to start slandering my name and causing uh, people to think about me in the wrong way. You see, so this guy has committed murder in my case. Okay, he committed murder. He's an evil, wretched, degenerate, probably homosexual piece of shit. And I'm not going to carry on, but you can read this. I'll place a link to it inside there. If you dare say, why am I bitter? You'll know why I'm bitter, you fucking idiot. I have every right to be bitter. I have every right to be angry. Every fucking Jew lawyer I approached didn't take my case. I wanted to sue this bastard. Nobody took it. Why? Because Americans are fucking cunts. That's why. This country is run by a corrupt elite 1%. They don't give a shit about anybody but those who are in positions of power. This is what you're looking at. This is the kind of scum that you find at the top Ivy League universities. Am I going on a rant? No, I have every right to be justified. I'm John Gabriel, and honestly, I can hope for nothing more than to see or to hear that this vile creature and all the others who joined him, and you too, if you're planning to post shit in my video section, I'll block you. Be careful. You won't be able to post again. Not that you care. But anyway, tell your friends about this. Spread the news. Tell them who the great mathematician is, not this fucking idiot Gilbert Strang. Tell them who is the person with the integrity. Tell them who was telling the truth. Tell them who started libeling, okay? And he and that corrupt Jew from France were two of my biggest enemies on Side.math, by the way, Jean-Pierre Massager and Gilbert Strang. And I want the whole world to know these things, okay? I want the world to know what kind of people work at MIT and Harvard and all those fucked up places. I'm John Gabriel, and this is a New Calculus channel.